In this module, we will learn how to fit a linear model and test for the different combination of contrasts for the coefficients. In several different previous modules, we have looked at the details of fitting a linear model, of finding the distribution of the estimates of the coefficient, as well as the formulation of the null hypothesis. In this module, all these techniques will come together where we use R to fit a linear model to an example dataset and also define the different functions in detail. In a few modules previously, we have looked at the setup of a general linear model. In case of a general linear model, we fit the regression model in the form of y equals x beta plus epsilon. We sometimes use this form to fit an ANOVA model or an ANCOVA model as well. So we have discussed those in previous few modules. Here what we would like to do is all the testing procedures, all the statistical inferential procedures which are available which comes with the general linear model, they will be tested. In a previous module, we had discussed the testing procedures as well. Also in detail, we have seen the distribution of the test statistic, the algebra and the geometry behind fitting a linear regression model. In this module, we are focusing on the general linear model, the testing procedures involved in it, and how we can do it using R. So general linear model is an ANOVA procedure in which the calculations are performed using a least squares regression approach to describe the statistical relationship between one or more predictors and a continuous response variable. Predictors can be factors as well as covariates. So in general linear model, the ANOVA procedure in which the calculations are performed using the least square regression approach to describe the relationship, we test using the t-test criteria for the significance of the factors that we have or the covariates that we have in our linear model. So the general linear model underlies most of the statistical analysis that are used in applied and social research. As I've mentioned before in one of the modules, the general linear model setup can be used and can be explored for fitting a model where the independent variables are all continuous, which is a standard regression setup. Also, we can look at factors when the independent variables are categorical and there are different factors. So, we can fit the regression model or fit an ANOVA model using the linear model y equals x beta plus epsilon setup and test for the equality of mean across different levels of the factors, as well as we can look at a combination model where you have factors as well as continuous variables in the model which are influencing the response variable. Such models are called ANCOVA. So, it is foundation for the t-test, analysis of variance, analysis of covariance, regression analysis, and many of the other multivariate methods including factor analysis, cluster analysis, multidimensional scaling, discriminant function analysis, canonical correlation, as well as others. Now, because of its generality, the model is important for students of social research. Now, let us look at the functions of R implementing general linear model fitting. In R, we use the package named gmodels to implement general linear model fitting. So, we use the functions within this package for such purpose, and also the results that we get from R help us fit the regression model as well as perform the testing procedures also. The descriptions of the functions along with their sample R codes will be shown in the following slides and it will be explained. So let us look at the CI function. This function is used to compute and display confidence interval for model estimates. When we talk about model estimates, in case of a model, what we estimate really is the coefficient in terms of which we write the model itself. So if I have 5 covariates, I can write my response variable y equals beta 0 plus beta 1 x1, beta 2 x2, beta 5 x5. Here fitting the regression model would mean that we are estimating beta 0, beta 1, beta 5, and using these estimates we write down the model of estimating y again. So y hat or the estimated values of y equal the estimated values of coefficient and using them the linear combination of the x variables. So this function is used to compute and display confidence interval for model estimates. The methods are provided for the mean of a numeric vector Ci, the probability of a binomial vector Ci dot binom, and for LM and LME objects are provided as well. So now let us look at a sample R code. Suppose we want to find the confidence interval of a set of values which come from the normal variable, the normal distribution. So we are looking at 10 such observations. Let B equal R binomial, where the probability of success is 0.75. We are taking size equals 1 and n equals 20, which means Ci binomial B will give us the confidence interval for binomial where B equals a random value from the binomial which is drawn using the parameters 20 and 0.75 and is of size 1. So now class of B, that is defined as binom. So the Ci of B will be giving us the coefficient estimate of the confidence interval of the estimate of the parameters. So now let us look at the data set state. Let Reg equals the LM function where we are regressing the area on population, and we are taking data as the data frame of the state data. Now we want to find the confidence interval of the fitted regression coefficient. So what we have to do is the function, the LM function that we had defined to fit the regression model, we write Ci and within bracket Reg. And in output what we will get is the coefficient, the confidence intervals of the coefficients of regression model which were estimated using the data. Now library NLME, the nonlinear models, this model method estimation, this also helps us get the confidence interval as well as it helps us fit the regression model. So orthodont at age group equals gtools quantcut orthodont age. The FM2 function defined as the LME where we are regressing distance with sex and age group based on the dataset orthodont, and we are taking random as the intercept. So the Ci, the confidence interval for the FM2 function, can also be obtained by just mentioning Ci function and within bracket we write the name of the regression function or the linear model estimate function FM2. Now the next function which we can use to fit a linear model and perform testing is the coef frame. This function is used to fit a model to each subgroup defined by, then returns a data frame with one row for each fit and one column for each parameter. So let us look at sample codes. In the library you have to, using the library function, we have to use the gtools. Data that we use here is ELISA. So coef frame based on a regression model where we are fitting log of signal on SSFPL, log of the concentration A, B, X mid and SCAL, where each of these are variables in the data set ELISA. Data equals ELISA, fitfun equals NLS, and we are subgrouping, as we had mentioned in the definition of the function itself, we are subgrouping the data by plate day and red. So the fit on equals description, and we are looking at standard, and concentration not equals 0. So we are segregating the data based on these conditions. So coef frame for this particular data set or this particular fitted model on the data set is used to fit a model, and for each of the subgroups defined by then returns the data frame, and we know the setup is one row for each fit and one column for each parameter. Now looking at a more interesting function which is the cross table function. This function is an implementation of a cross tabulation function with output similar to the S plus, cross tabs and SAS proc frequency or in the SPSS format with the chi-square, Fisher and McNemar test of the independence of all table factors. Now, in a general linear model, we talk about a model which can have as its x variable factors as well. So when we have different factors, when we check for the association between these factors, generally the statistical method that we use is by cross-tabulating the data by rows and columns, where the rows and the columns would contain the different levels of the two factors, and then we use the chi-square testing procedure to check whether there is any significant association between the two or not. So this procedure can be performed using the cross-table function, which is similar to the SAS's proc frequency function. What it does is it takes the data and cross-tabulates it, just like we theoretically do in statistics, and keeps account of the frequency of every possible combination of the two factors. So when we call the data inferred from the package's dataset using the cross-table function, we can cross-tabulate the data based on education and induced, and when I say expected equals true, it means that we are looking at a table, a cross table, which calculates the expected frequencies. So in general, the chi-square testing procedure would require you to have two different tables, one for the observed frequencies and the other for the expected. So the observed frequency, which we already have from the data set, we can generate the expected frequencies by using the cross table function. Now, talking about the general linear model fitting R, a very important function is the estimable function. By definition, estimable functions are the ones which can be estimated as a linear combination of the available data points. This function computes, the estimable function in R computes and tests, contrasts, and other estimable linear functions of model coefficients. So all the different contrasts and other estimable linear functions of the coefficients involved in the general linear model, those can be estimated using this function. It computes as well as tests the contrasts for LM, GLM, LME and keys objects. So let's look at a sample R code. Y equals R norm 100. So from our normal distribution, we are generating a sample of size 100. X cuts R norm 100, where mean equals Y, SD equals 0.25, and we have a vector defined as -4, -1.5, 0, 1.5 and 4. So the four levels that we define of X are A, B, C and D. So X2 is defined as another normal generated random variable of size 100 with mean mu, with mean Y and standard deviation 0.5. Now let us regress Y on X. So the estimable functions, estimable contrasts in case of regression function, where we define the coefficients as C, 0, 1, 0, -1, it will help you test the contrast such that B minus D, this is what they are. So the four levels, out of the four levels of X, A, B, C and D, using these coefficients 0, 1, 0 and -1, we are testing the contrast B minus D. This can also be written as estimable based on the regression of Y on X, such that XB equals 1 and XD equals -1. Now using the library Gplots, we look at the plot of the X and the Y variables. So let us look at regression 2, which is regress using the LM function, where Y is regressed on X, X2 and PM, where PM is P of max X2 minus 0.5, 0. So range would be the sequence. We are defining range as sequence which runs between -2 and 2 with a gap of 0.5. Let us define the function TMP as the estimable function which computes and tests the contrast for regression 2. CM gives us the C bind, where we are free to choose the contrasts and also the different coefficients which we want to use in the different contrasts. So intercept equals 1, C is taken as 1, and x2, that takes the coefficient range, and Pm would equal Pmax, range minus 0.5 and 0. And the confidence interval will be generated where the confidence level is 95% or 0.95. So now plotting the confidence interval, x equals the range, y equals the TMP. So the estimable functions, when we estimate them and we compute them, that is what for the first value of TMP will give us the value of y. Li, or the lower range of the interval, will be given by TMP, the 6th column, and the upper interval will be given by TMP, the 7th column. Based on the data set IRIS, we can also fit the linear model or general linear model by using the LM and the GLM function of sepal length on sepal width and species and the interaction between the two. So let us write family equals the quasi-Poisson identity. Then Cm is the R bind, where we are looking at the different types of contrasts. And when we want to test Sentosa versus versicolor, then the contrast will be given by, the coefficient of the contrast will be given by the vector 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. Likewise, Sentosa versus Virginica will have the coefficients as 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. And at the end, when we write estimable LM1, Cm and LM2, Cm, so using these contrasts that we have defined in Cm, for all the fitted models above using LM and GLM, using estimable function, R will compute as well as test these contrasts. The next function that we will talk about is fast.prcomp. This is the standard prcomp and SVD function which are very efficient for wide matrices. So fast.prcomp and fast.svd are modified versions which are efficient even for matrices that are very, very wide. So we set the seed, we take nr equals 50 and nc equals 2000. Let us define X as a matrix R norm nr by nc, where n row equals nr, n column equals nc. Tx is defined as T of, or the transpose of this matrix X. Now the system time is given, system.time will give us the value of X by using the SVD technique of X, given U, and the system time value of Tx will give us the SVD based on the transpose of the X matrix, so SVD Tx, and we are looking at the V. So max of these two would be the max of absolute value of X minus absolute value of Tx. So the system time value of X is less than equals fast.svdx, and system time value dot Tx would be equals fast SVD Tx. So the max is given by the difference between the two. And using the stats from the library, we can use the system time, and then pr.x is defined as the prcomp. And the system time fast.prx equals fast.prcomp. So using these functions, we can easily modify versions which are efficient for matrices that are very wide, and the standard prcomp and SVD functions are performed using the fast prcomp. Now fit.contrast, this function computes and tests arbitrary contrasts for regression objects. So just like we had seen on a previous slide, that estimable function, this computes and tests contrast and other estimable linear function. When we use the fit.contrast, it computes and tests arbitrary contrast for any regression object. So let y equal the random values, random sample from normal, which is of size 100. X equals cut R norm 100, mean y, SD is 0.25, and the contrast is defined as -4, -1.5, 0, 1.5 and 4. As you can see here, when you add up the coefficients, they add up to 0. we regress y on x and we split x and y using sapply based on the mean. So now fitting the contrast on the regression function and x, we define the contrast and the coefficient of the contrast is 1, 0, 0, negative 1. Likewise, in the following, we have also defined other random contrasts, and using the fit.contrast function, we can test them all. So here there are some more examples. If the reader is interested, they can copy these codes and run them in R, and once you get the results, you should be able to interpret now the results from the fit.contrast function. So it's easy to define a contrast by just defining the coefficients, keeping in mind that the sum of the coefficient has to be 0, and accordingly R will perform the testing of the coefficients. So all the details that we have learnt in this module are about fitting a linear model for a data set using R. We have not just used the LM function to fit a linear model, but we have also picked up each of the functions separately. For example, the cross table function, which works for nominal variables or the factor variables. We have also looked at the estimable function, which uses to look at the contrasts of all possible list of estimable functions that we can write using the help of our coefficients. So in detail, we have looked at every one of these functions, and we have looked at the output of R as well and how we can interpret them.